Yes, other form Mamuna Kwaba. Other over platform we as so host and an RJ. And I want to make a bonning punim so and a kind out of our platform we as so an hour one as my say subscribe to the so for latest update time behind notification or send a newly upload beyond and so about Richie was out of four. Say yes, you must say the answer my quality media and so celebrity foreign channel and moment and some to be a this particular platform so Mahama, so what I say, former President Mahama, was signed ever be Mahama, 7 making. Or no sooner I idea been idea why ye, and not as a water left and right center, my papa. Your friend is say, Black Rasta, so Ababa reacted. Ye papa be no air din komobi. Now, which my Ghana for, say, I dream on air middle, say, ya genum quay, what's my Ghana for Janet, dear Sabi. Yeah, was a Ghana for dream the and what day. Out of four, yes, we don't ask what the sun so infamous.
This thing gives me a certain feeling that is mixed. Come here. Watch this. A president, and we say it as it is, a president who is accessible to the people. Asamoah could have called the Minister of Defense or the Interior Minister, but he sidestepped all these people and called the president, the sitting president at the time. He knew it was Asamoah. He answered the call. He said, "What can I do for you?" He said, "I've lost my friend." He didn't say, "Please call the defense minister or call the minister of interior." He said, "Oh, okay." And within an hour, according to Asamoah, about 10 helicopters were hovering all over Adna to find out if Castro could be rescued. This brings tears into my eyes. You know why? My brother, one of the things that put me off totally, the fact that when we vote people into power, all of a sudden they become more important than us. The first thing they do is to change their phone numbers. The second thing is they get 5 strong dogs in their house and they write on the big wall, "Beware of wild dogs." We can't get into their homes anymore. They are too busy for us. They can't talk to us. We need appointments before we can speak to them, let alone even see them. Yet we are the employers. They should be at our beck and call. But because we have become so cheap, every time we are running after these dirty ministers in power all over Africa and they lord it over us. When a minister or a politician sees a civilian, the first thing he thinks about is he's coming for money. And it's not entirely wrong. A lot of us, the moment we have a brother or a sister in politics or in a certain political office, we think that now the family is done. We are all good. Everything is okay. We shall make money because that is a loot bay. Should I say it again? It's a loot bay. A call to political office in Ghana is a call to lootocracy. We are in there to loot and to steal. We are not in there to serve the people who voted us into power and lent us the power to be able to get stronger. I am touched by this thing. First and foremost, somebody called President Mahama and said, "My brother is dying at the hospital. I don't have time to tell you how I got your number. The doctors here are saying that if we don't fly this person out from Wa by tomorrow, he will die." At the time, they didn't have an airstrip or an airport in Wa. He sent the Air Force plane, the military plane, as to how they were able to get to the area and pick up this person who was supposed to be dying in at most 48 hours, was rescued. And today the person is alive. My brother, let me be quick enough to say that it is not the duty of the president to be answering calls all over the place. That is why he has people in power. Put them in very key positions to be able to handle some of these things. But the people you put in power, if they close their doors and become more important than the electorate, they even become more important than the president, then it behoves the president to answer all the calls and listen to everybody one after the other. It reminds me of the great Ghana king, the very last Ghana king before the Ghana Empire was dismantled and taken over by the Almoravids. He was called Tinkaminen. Tinkaminen brought up a model that was so powerful that only a few African leaders are able to emulate that. He moved from house to house in the Ghana Empire, as many houses as he could, just to interact with the grassroots people, talk to them, sometimes even share their meals with them. Tinkaminen did that. If Mahama could answer phone calls, I remember Shatawale some time ago said, I've been calling him. These days he doesn't answer my calls. Listen, that means he had been answering Shatawale's calls to a point that he felt that, well, where this conversation probably is going, I will not be able to continue. Or for some other reasons, I might not be able to answer this call. The most important thing is that he was even answering the calls of musicians. How many more people had access to Mahama? I didn't have any access to him. And I'm not crying to have any access to Mahama. I've never spoken to Mahama on phone. I met him once when Musica went in there to greet him. And he didn't even want to shake my hand because I was so critical of his government. I will say this everywhere. Come here. Let's juxtapose that with our big father in power, Nana Akufo-Addo. Do you have his phone number? How many of you call him and he answers? How many of you will call the president and say, Mr. President, my brother is critically ill and dying. He's in the Kwesingpe hospital. Mr. President, I am so desperate. Before you hear, that's if he answers your call at all. I am not advocating that people should be calling presidents. They are too busy for such calls. But somebody has gone beyond being busy to sparing some little time to talk to ordinary citizens. It gives me hope. It tells me that other leaders.
Yes, other for now, so when sending someone, your papa friend said Black Rasta and son about better, the witness said, Mahama. What I say we deserve some praises because any easy so be bet me aye sadia no wa ya de. So what I say, ya papa bi nso no aba bedin komo bon komo bi e wode san. O tirema Ghana fo adwen da ye tiremu de sebe adwen nye dwuma adwen no sebe enya dwuma.
Afe na mahu ne say o man Ghana na ye wo mu no ye nyina obi anye serious. Because he live on man a so be MP ya to abama no. Na se wo wu a ni yase chenchena sympathy vote nti yemfa ne yere mesa nan a da be na tele ni wu ya ye ma ne yere be hye nanan so mepamade da be na teacher ni wu ye a ye ka say o ye teacher ni be ma wawu nti yenkofa ne yere emra meji emehye nanan se madam da be na medical doctor bi wu ya ye ka say yenkofa ne yere emra mehye nanan etie na ekoso wo Ghana na se ye chechere wo man na se ye be ma adwen we ne de be chechere wo man dia na kase wo man na yomru sabe ye na ye nimu nyansa na e de na ekoso yi he se ya anyere ye ho on by the next 10 years MP se wan hwe yi no wan hwe wo yiri yi na wo yiri nso nyakopon a obeku ato atwene no aba ba ye MP se MP se wo Ghana nhwe yi a because oba bia nim se ne kunu wu ewo Ghana ana ne kunu ye MP a probability so baba be MP no e 100%. Ento mbe konkomo mu kunu no ma baba be MP no me de ahyehya amanfo me na me ka kire wo. So this is a time yen shamra se wo be ye MP na wo wu a se ne yire deserve wo so won deserve wo se de o mampanyini wu a yen fa first ne di me ye o mampanyini no MP wu a ne yire nya MP ne yire nya MP ne yire nya MP e mama me yan sori a e man bi kunkum ye nyina atake position trust me o mu nsu awurade obeku ato atwene so onim so okun ade no dede no oba be take position. What is that?
Yes, other for that so when sending someone you never remain so no ade ababon tan e de adwuma ne be siem do biara se be